Welcome back, viewers. We have a very special guest with us today named Codename Decker. We'll go with Codename Decker. We like that. He's an old buddy of mine. We used to work together out in old Hollywood. Not necessarily Hollywood, but close enough, so we'll go with that.
Hello, everyone.
All
the Quackdar fans.
Yes, Quagdar fans indeed. He is a compositor in Hollywood, and a lot of gamers, I find, are huge fans of films. So I figured this would be somewhat relevant and a little nice change of pace for us to go ahead and interview a Hollywood compositor. I'm sure a lot of you youngsters out there are very interested in maybe one day pursuing something in the creative arts, be it video games or Hollywood films. So he was kind enough to give us a little insight on what to expect in the professional workplace of Hollywood compositing. We have a list of questions here. We're just going to start them off. Where are some of the studios that you've worked at in the past, so they can just kind of get an idea?
Some of the big name ones are Digital Domain. This is in Venice, California, and then the place I'm currently at right now is Scanline VFX, another big VFX studio. Both of those companies work on all the high-end, big-budget blockbuster movies. Pretty much the majority of them that have come out, they've had a hand in touching. And so that's where I've been mostly for the past 4 or 5 years. And I've been at a couple small places, all in the LA, Santa Monica, Venice area. And then I've worked at a couple other smaller boutiques in the LA area, Santa Monica, Venice area as well.
Okay. Boutiques as opposed to studio? What exactly?
Yeah, there's just smaller VFX houses where, the max people might be 8 or 10 people, artists there. And then, they work on smaller shows and commercials. So just, all around smaller work in general.
So when a movie is being made, let's say the upcoming Batman vs. Superman, looking forward to it. Does one studio do all the work on that film?
Definitely not. There's just too much work on a big blockbuster movie like that. You're looking at anywhere, 2,000 plus shots. And so what the studios will do is they'll divvy out the shots to different houses, or VFX houses. And so each, big one like I'm working at may take on like 700-800 shots. Another studio will take on another 700, and then a couple smaller studios will take on smaller chunks, stuff that's not as complicated. And then so yeah, that's how they get a movie done. 4 or 5 VFX houses are working on one movie. Just takes that many people to get it done in the short amount of time that they give us. Gotcha.
Would you say there's a large amount of artists that work on these films to get them done?
Oh, it is. It is quite impressive how many artists have to touch every shot to get a show done. There's so many people that that normal person would never even realize how much work and how many people it takes to get a movie done.
Yeah, I've heard in the past and partly been a part of it where a lot of shots that are not people don't realize would be considered visual effect shots, such as treating actors. Yeah, am I correct in saying that not all these Hollywood actors truly have the skin complexions that we see on screen, and could perhaps be altered digitally?
You are definitely correct. There's quite a lot of work that goes into making corrections, such as hey, an actor's human. They have pimples some days, so on the day that they shot, they had a pimple, so we got to go in and clear it up, clean it out. One job that I had to do was an actor's hairpiece was a little too obvious, so I actually had to go in and fix it and make it less obvious, so the audience would never know that this actor is wearing a hairpiece. And it gets down to the kind of strange and interesting, where you got to do a crotch reduction.
Crotch reduction.
Hey, all these superhero movies coming out, they're wearing those tights,
Yeah.
So
All right.
It's PG,
Yeah,
so.
I understand that. The actor's probably a little ticked that he has to have his crotch reduced, but whatever.
There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. Wrinkle reduction, some actors or something like that. Depending on what the studios want.
So let me go ahead and ask you this. I'm sure there's a lot of young people out there that are interested in working either in video games or probably even feature film. Both very creative industries. In your particular case, how difficult is it to get started? What are some realistic expectations a person wanting to get into working in Hollywood visual effects? What are some realistic expectations they can have about getting in?
You definitely gotta, realize you're gonna go in starting low on the totem pole. So usually, if you want to be a compositor, that may start off with you having to actually do rotoscoping and paint, which is, rotoscoping is where you're basically tracing out people or things, and then with those trace outs, the compositors can use that to cut out the person or object from a scene and place them in another scene.
Okay.
And then for paint is where there's crew in the background and we need to paint them out like they were never there, or there's a microphone that was in the shot and so we need to digitally paint that out and remove it. So you may have to do that for a couple jobs at a couple places to work your way up.
Okay.
But there's some people who are just really talented and skilled and they just get a job right off the bat because they have a really good understanding of compositing and how to work with the software and make the shots look really good. So but yeah, you definitely gotta be willing to put in the time and go through the trenches.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should I expect to say leave school with a compositing background? Maybe I went to a place say like a Full Sail where they teach you absolutely everything really, really quick. Can I expect to say I want to work on Star Wars? I'll be working at the bottom of the totem pole. ILM, hire me.
That might be a little bit difficult because what I found is it's definitely part of who you know to definitely get you in places. And if you're just starting out Full Sail, you're gonna come out with hopefully a pretty good demo reel, and that might get your foot in the door. But that might I don't know that might not
have to be pretty spectacular.
Right, because ILM, you have a lot of competition. There's other very experienced artists, who want to get in there and work at a facility like that, so they could work on the demo reel and say that, on their resume they have, experience with ILM. So, and like it's a pretty small community, the visual effects community. So people know each other, and so your name gets around, through supervisors and other people like that. So I mean, hey, definitely go for it. I mean, if that's what you want to do, work at ILM or some other big VFX house, that's great. But also, going smaller places and getting experience and improving your demo reel and getting more referrals to definitely help you get your foot in the door eventually.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's definitely a small industry. I have done some work on both sides of the coast for the United States, and via Facebook I had a coworker I worked with in California and a young lady out here in Florida, and those two met in New Zealand at Weta. Or was it Weta? No, she went out to California, they met, and now they're together and they've been together for a long time. So it's just, I found that hilarious that two people from two totally different places. It proved my point of just how small it is. And now I'm seeing people on social media, they're all going to the studios, people I know and they're now friends with other people that I've met, and it really showcases how small it is. But there's a lot of competition at the same time. Right.
Definitely a lot of competition, especially, here in the States, where a lot of the work has been going overseas for quite a while now. So it can make it more difficult to find a job here with so many people trying to work and stay here as well. But from what I've seen, most people are willing to go abroad. So that's definitely where the opportunity is at for advancement as well.
Yeah, I would definitely say it's becoming more of a nomadic lifestyle, I believe is a good term.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't hold yourself down too much. I know it's I've watched where you've been going, and I've definitely said to myself, boy, he's making out like a bandit, being able to live in the same state. So,
yeah, I have been very fortunate. Thankful for that.
What's a typical day in a studio like?
Typical day, it's very, very casual environment. So I worked at places where you start work anywhere from 9 to 10. So that, they start later and usually end a little bit later. Like I said, really laid back, so you'll get in there, you start your work, and then usually we'll have what we call dailies. So it's like at the end of the day or middle of the day, the supervisors will go into the screening rooms, basically, a theater, smaller version of a theater, but I mean, it's pretty big still. And then, they'll review all of our work, and then they'll give us notes, and then we'll go back and, and then we'll continue, making updates and fixes. And then, the next day, we'll go and show them what we've just worked on, trying to address their notes. And you kind of just work like that till a deadline comes up, and they end up coming pretty quickly. So
now, I would imagine with these big budget films, they scrutinize the work pretty good in those screening rooms. Would that be correct?
That is very correct. I mean, you got to go in there definitely with a thick skin, because they're gonna tear into your stuff and just rip it apart. And they're just pointing out stuff that to help it that if you'll fix, it'll help it look better and integrate better. And because they're trying to catch all these errors and fix it now before they even sent it to the client, to the studio.
Yes.
Because then they're going to do the same thing. They're going to tear into it. They're going to rip it apart. So you definitely want to create a good rapport. And when the VFX studio sends work to the studio, you want it to look good, so that they'll be able to trust your judgment and say, wow, yeah, okay, just a couple little fixes here, and then let's call that done.
Now, one thing I remember, and a lot of people, I really think that they need to understand, if you're interested, and this goes not just for visual effects, but also for video games. Decker and I have both worked in the video game industry at a very small level, so we have been able to taste it a small amount. What are the hours like?
Oh, for video game quality assurance?
Yeah.
So they call it quality assurance. Basically, it's just video game testing. So you're playing through level, and it's not that the hours can be pretty ridiculous as well. Especially come their deadline, they got to get a build of the game ready that's got majority or most of the big bugs out of the way. So they're under a timeline as well. So hours can you can definitely get into the 12, 14, 16 hour days. 6-7 days a week, and it's not fun like most people are thinking. A typical day could be playing the same level. You only have one level, and you play that over and over with a team of people trying to think of anything you can to break the game. And that just goes on day after day, and you may get another build in another day or another two. So it definitely can be a grind.
So what is your record? This is a two-part question. For visual effects, most days worked straight, consecutive days, and longest work day.
Okay, most days work straight. You know what? I can't remember the exact number. We worked together on this particular show, so you would probably know, but I'm thinking 52 weeks? Or 52 days?
Whoa!
I can't remember.
I think it was 52 straight days, and
okay.
That was it 12 or 14 hour days or something like that? I can't remember.
Oh, it was minimum 12 up to 14, 15 hour days for sure.
So that's still your record. Wow, I thought you would have eclipsed that by now.
No, thankfully it's gotten better. Good. A lot better.
Good.
And as for longest day worked, the longest I did was a 27 hour day. Straight hours. Yeah, I know. There's people out there who can brag about doing more, but thankfully 27 is my limit, and it has not gone up or equaled that, and actually since then. So
yeah, so definitely expect if you're wanting to go into any of these type of industries, just know that it's not going to be these typical 9-to-5 jobs, weekends off. You're gonna work. They're gonna work you. So you just need to expect that. That's why the industry, they love them. They love to get them young, so they can burn you out.
That burnout definitely happens.
Yes.
You definitely be wary of that, because the older people get, the less that they want to do that. So yeah, it's definitely good to be young and hungry when you get into it, and then hopefully as you get older, you get more wise and more ability, and you don't have to work those kind of hours and work your life away.
Yeah, you get exhausted. Little story that I kind of remember. It was that very last day that we were discussing the 52 straight days, where I got pulled over by an officer on the way home, and then he got out, and I was so drunk, tired. he actually thought I was physically drunk and actually gave me a sobriety test. And I had to explain, I was like, no, I'm just coming home from work, man. What are some of the favorite films that you've worked on?
Favorite films, definitely one of the favorite has been Iron Man 3. That was a lot of fun to work on. Obviously, most people know, a very visual effects heavy movie. And it's just got cool visual effects in there in general. Also worked on a movie that's going to be coming out pretty soon, Heart of the Sea. That was a fun project to work on. I mean, period piece. And of course, my what I find to be my most favorite is my current project I'm working right now, which is Batman vs Superman.
Oh, you lucky.
Yeah. I can't say anything about it really, but this is the first movie that I've ever worked on that I'm actually really excited to go see. I only see a very small portion that we have at our particular studio, so I really don't know what's going to happen. I'll be as excited as everyone else when I see it.
How's Batman? Does Batman just look cool? Yes, no. You have to go into details. You just say, like, does he look? I mean,
I'll say this: I was not happy about all the Batman stuff being said about Batman for this particular movie, but from what I've seen, I'm very excited about it.
All right, I'll take that. Excellent dodge. Let's see here. All right, so I'm a young person. As a hobby, be it for, again, video games or visual effects, anything on the creative standpoint, we live in a digital world. So there's going to be a lot of software that needs to be used. Should I just pick up any piece of software and start playing with it and just learn it? Or is there particular software that's universally used through the industry, and should I just use my time learning that?
I guess it depends on what you want to do. If you want to do hobby stuff, then yeah, there's lower end software that's not like industry standard, that's much more affordable. If you want to get into this as a career, then you definitely want to use the software that's being used by the big studios. And for compositing, that's mainly going to be Nuke by the Foundry, which is a very, very involved piece of software.
Yeah, whole new way of thinking.
Yeah. I mean, if you just get into it, it's a very high learning curve. But fortunately, there is plenty of free tutorials out there. There's websites dedicated to that to help you learn, and there's definitely a lot of opportunity to get to know the software. You just got to be willing to put in the time. There's After Effects, which is great. What I say is After Effects can do pretty much most of the stuff that that Nuke can do. But it's just not nearly as efficient, and there's definitely some more limitations by far. And if you want to do this for a career, you're definitely going to be using Nuke a lot more, especially for movies. For television series, VFX, they may use After Effects more at these smaller places because it's by far less expensive as well.
I know you do the compositing, but what 3D software in terms of modeling do you see used in like these big studios?
If you wanted to get into 3D, I mean, there's so many aspects to 3D. There's modeling, there's rigging, setting up the bone structure basically. There's texturing, there's animating, there's lighting. This is all in the 3D realm. But I mean, definitely a good way to go is Maya for sure.
Okay.
That's definitely good place to start. I mean, if you get to know Maya, you're definitely going to have a way in at most places. The other 3D software that's not used as much, but it's 3D Studio Max. So that's another option. But Maya's definitely the way to go. And again, another expensive piece of software. But for all these, they do have the personal learning editions. And if you're a student, they have student discount versions as well, which are greatly reduced, thankfully.
Yeah, one of the things I personally was very happy about is Nuke now offering an almost fully complete version for people to learn with. I know we're getting a little bit off subject here, but I was completely thrilled with that. It renders up to 1080p.
Wow.
Offers you a lot of stuff. It's very few things are locked out, but I was impressed with it. So there's no excuse to not be learning the quote industry standard software. If this is the route you want to go, you have access to it now.
Yeah, that sounds like a great opportunity. I would definitely look into that if that's what you want to do.
This is going to be a good one. Your nightmare shot. What was your biggest nightmare shot and why?
My biggest nightmare shot happened a couple years ago. It was on the latest 300 movie. It was, one of the climax shots of the movie where, I've never seen the movie, but it's where the main hero, the Spartan, is on this horse in the ships at the end of the movie, and he jumps on his horse and he's riding through the ships and jumping from ship to ship, and he's chopping people up as he's going. Well, as he was doing that, obviously, he wasn't really on a horse. He was a guy riding a mechanical bull, basically, pretty much a mechanical horse. It was just green screened him riding that. And they put tracking markers all over his body, his torso, over the gear on him and on his back. So there's these little orange tracking markers. And, hey, we got to get rid of those, so somebody's got to do it. So it took a team of us, countless 12-hour days, 7 days a week, weeks to work on and complete that shot. It was a nightmare. And the shot itself was about, gosh, I don't know, maybe 8 seconds, and that's one shot, 8 seconds, which is an eternity in visual effects, because each 1 second is 24 frames, so that's 24 images we have. So times that by 8, so it was very horrendous, and experience I hope to not have to go through again.
And I'm sure you will. All right, what about, since we've done your worst, what about your favorite? Any particular shots that was just like your absolute favorite?
One of my favorites for sure was from Iron Man 3, is when the Iron Patriot has been taken over and they're on Air Force One, and the Iron Patriot grabs the president and he slams him up against the wall. So that was my shot. What was fun about that shot is the actual shot, the plate, was a man in a practical suit, in a real suit of the Iron Man, and he actually had a Santa hat on too. And
Santa hat on?
Yeah, he had a Santa hat on. But no one ever would know that now. But yeah, he had a Santa hat on, and he grabbed the president and slammed up against the wall, which I thought was funny. But I guess they changed their mind afterwards. So we had to actually get rid of the real guy in the practical Iron Man suit. So so I had to first get rid of him. So I had to paint him out like he was never there, and then we had to put in a CG Iron Man, and obviously make him look photorealistic. And so I worked with the lighter on that. It was Joseph Langmeyer. Guy did an amazing job, and so together we made it look like the CG Iron Man slammed up the president up against the wall, and I thought it looked really good. I was actually, when we were in the screening room getting the shot reviewed, one of the VFX supervisors is like, hey, is that real or is that a practical Iron Man? When you hear that, it's you're in. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's definitely one of the shots I'm most proud
of. Film credits. Just because you work on it, and effects especially, does not mean you're getting listed. And I remember when that rolled, and our company, I think, was able to get 10, 12 names, something insanely low. And then you and I both sunk together in our seats because we didn't want to be lynched by the other artists, because we didn't know. We had no idea. We were like, oh my God. And there were about 100 other people that didn't get listed. So that blows their mind, because you see this list of film credits that just keep going and going, and I hear people like, wow, that's insane. And I'm like, there's probably 3 times that.
Yes, it is very unfortunate that some people don't get the credit for putting in the work and the time, to help make that, finish a movie and complete it and make it look as good as they do.
Let's try this one out. You have a youngster coming up to you and says, I want to work in visual effects. What are 3 things you wish a professional would have told you when you were just starting out?
I guess the software being used, that would help. So at least I would have some place to start looking into and start working my way to gaining knowledge and ability. That would definitely help. Because I was looking at lower end stuff that I could think like, okay, I could possibly afford this, but not realizing that the higher end software have the personal learning editions that allow you to get in there, get your feet wet, and start learning the software. Another thing would be helpful is I can't think of another one right now.
Really? That was it?
I guess you definitely gotta be willing to. Right now, a lot of the work is abroad, but LA, Santa Monica area, that's definitely where the majority of the work is going to be done. So you gotta be willing to go there, and that would probably be a good place to start looking for work and opportunities. To start off low and get your foot in the door. That would definitely be helpful to know. Having take some art classes, get to understand lighting, shadows, and a little bit of color. You don't have to be an artist. Not all compositors are artists. Like some of them can't draw, can only draw stick figures, but they understand lighting, photography, so they understand what makes something look right. Understand this term, depth of field, stuff like that, stuff to integrate your shot and integrate elements into your shot and to be able to make them look like they belong together.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, and you'll even see that a lot. You'll see a lot of photographic terms and references inside of these high-end compositing software packages.
Yes.
You're gonna get information, ideally, of the camera that was used on the set, so that can help anything and everything. Have you ever gotten camera information from a set? I never once.
Oh, yeah. Actually, yeah. Get all the information.
Okay, because
where we were working at previously together, we got nothing.
Yeah, we got nothing.
So,
what camera was used?
But now it's amazing. You get all the information, and we even get what's called like LiDAR, which is now like it's a whole 3D representation of the set when they were shooting. Mm-hmm. So it's like a rough geometry of it. So you actually it's so extremely helpful.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Something I wish we had when we were working together.
So since my YouTube channel does deal a lot with video gaming as well as other things, we're going to go ahead and touch on that one briefly, because one of the things that we used to go ahead and do to decompress is let's just go ahead and bring this rehash some old memories. Friday night game night.
Oh, that was so awesome.
Oh my God, was that amazing?
I missed that.
Yeah, I missed that so much. We would probably be at it for 4 hours, just a gang of guys just killing each other. You can go ahead and be perfectly honest with them. You don't have to lie or anything like that. How often was I winning these matches in Halo?
I don't remember. I just remember we all had fun. And
it's okay. You can go ahead and tell me. Basically, who is the king of Halo? It's all right.
I would say you probably won a good portion. Yeah.
Who was the one that made famous the teabagging?
That became a regular move after it was introduced.
Yeah.
He remained nameless.
Yes, I miss fragging you noobs, and then you would just hear the little thumbstick going click 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 click.
It's fun to do, annoying to have happen to you.
Yes. One night I remember I brought a tea bag in hopes, and I think I stapled my face on it and just threw it at the first person I did it to. Yeah, we always have to have our decompression, as well as everybody. Just in your daily life, just go ahead and make sure you get enough time in there, decompress, enjoy life.
Yes.
Well, Mr. Decker, I want to thank you so much for taking time from your early morning, because I woke him up exceptionally early on California time, and he was kind enough to go ahead and answer some questions and be my first guinea pig for an interview for our little channel here. So, Mr. Decker, thank you so much, and hopefully in the future we can have you back in other ways.
Thank you for the opportunity. It was fun. I'm a fellow Quagdar fan as well, so please continue producing the great content, and hopefully it's not as long of pause in between the stuff you produce, but I understand and have an appreciation for all the work that goes into it. So Thank you, and I hope to be able to join you again.
Absolutely. You will absolutely be on this channel again, sir. Thank you so much, and you have an excellent morning. Stop. See, you can't tell from this. It looks like I'm going way up here, but believe it or not, actually right here.
The first one I saw.
Yes. All right. This only took a couple months, and I'm shocked you said yes. I was like, there's no way.
Just say Decker.
Decker?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. First interview.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and all right. We're going to have to do that one all over again. Hold on.
I heard so.
Hold on.